We're going to talk about detail shots today, and one of the big things you hear as far as people who aren't a fan of these is, oh, well, we're not selling a couch, we're not selling a pot of flowers, we're not selling a fork. A phone call inside my shell. So I wanted to look at some of the advertisements and marketing advertisements, from the big boys, from the people who obviously really know what they're doing. And honestly, just trust me when I say I didn't go out of my way to choose these particular advertisements. But what we're going to do, I think you'll realize that when you start noticing more in your own, sort of perusal around the internet and stuff, and when you're watching commercials on TV, that these patterns that we're going to see in this commercial here really repeat themselves over and over and over again. So we're going to play this. We're going to go ahead and play, and I'll pause it quite quickly here. So this is starting the commercial, and you notice they started with a patty grilling on a stove or whatever it was, and they started with sort of some seasoning or salt going on there or something, just sort of getting your mouth watering and stuff. So this is a detail, right? We're obviously not in there looking at one little sort of microgram of the beef or anything like that, but don't think like that. This is definitely a detail. This is a piece of that beef, a piece of that burger, okay? And it's not even on the burger yet, right? It's not even there. They're just trying to get us to this point where we're feeling like, wow, I really want to eat that thing the next time I get hungry, or maybe want to eat it right now, correct? And then the next thing we see, at this point, we are actually seeing part of the burger, but this is another detail, right? So mind you, they're starting off with details. Think about like when people make movies or commercials or whatever, they're going to put their big sort of home run footage at the start, right? Really take note of that, because you're not going to put your most boring image at the start. They're starting off with these really close in tight details of this sort of sauce oozing out, the pickles and sort of the zesty lettuce and fresh lettuce. They're not even showing us the burger, okay? They're kind of, what you could say about this photo is they're showing us a picture of lettuce and sauce. Well, they're not selling lettuce and sauce, right? So you might say, oh, they are. I'm sort of playing on words with the fact that people say they're not selling a couch. So I know the lettuce and sauce are part of the burger. I realize that, but you hopefully see through the point here. Let's just continue on. I think it's very, very noteworthy that they're starting off completely with details. So here we do have a shot. This is about a third of the way through the commercial, it looks like, and at this point they're starting to show us the entire burger, but it's not even like focusing on the burger to me. I mean, they're actually doing a little bit of artsy like camera movement here and like getting some stuff in the foreground. So it's more about, you'll notice this too, a lot of stuff is sort of setting you up with production value. Maybe we'll look at another example of that where they're using the production value. The product does happen to be in there this time. Sometimes it's not, but they're just sort of selling you with production value. And I feel like that's what's going on with this shot. And sometimes, like I said, you'll see it without even the product in there, like with a car commercial. You see the guys like, they're on the beach or something. The car's not even around. It was just like about that trip to the beach. Well, in this case, we do have the product in the shot, but they're really trying to do this cool sort of production value, camera movement. And in my opinion, it sort of falls in the detail category too. It's just sort of a way to get you going, like get you sort of pumped up about this commercial. And here we're again seeing the burger again. So about halfway through the commercial, and I don't know if this is more of a trend nowadays, but they are sort of showing the burger in this particular case. It's a little bit less idealized than we're used to, right? A lot of times we just see these perfect burgers. This looks like more like one of the ones just off of their, actually off of the racks at McDonald's. And I'm not sure if that's a trend or what, if they got called out on that or what, but you guys can leave in the comments about that. I haven't gone through this video really, but I just noticed that, and I think that's very noteworthy. Maybe they've been called out in the past for showing too idealized of a version of the burger, and so they're sort of downscaling that. It's interesting. All right, so we ended off pretty standard there. So we're gonna head off. I'm gonna grab, let's look at a car commercial. I went ahead and typed in Toyota commercial, and I checked this one out. This was the first one that looks like an actual commercial. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in here and get to the start of it, and we'll just sort of discard this information we're seeing right now. That's just their logo and stuff. So you notice, of course, again, they're starting off with, I would call this that production value content. So they're just starting you off with more of a feeling, more of a production value. So they're telling us a story, right? And here, not everyone's going to have a job like this where their car is parked in a really dark alley, or a really dark parking structure, but they're showing you it like this. They're just sort of, I would guess, wanting to tell a story about this. It's sort of cool too, you know, like, oh, I can leave my car down here, it's safe, it's secure, whatever, like that, maybe something like that. But yeah, they are in this case showing the entire car, at least. But I would really call this a detail, because it's not about the car, right? It's just a shot showing the guy is walking towards his car. I really think this, and so this is really interesting, right? Because we're again at the start of the video, and what are we seeing? A definite, really, really tight detail here of sort of the polish and the finishing, and how sort of snappy opening that door handle may be. Actually, let's listen to that and just see how they emphasize that. I feel like what they're doing there with that handle opening is just giving you that feeling of how strong it is. And that's probably all idealized, right? They're not using the actual sound effect of opening up their door, right? They're giving you this feeling that it's very strong and sturdy and stable, you know, opening of that door. And next we see, look at this, how it feels to get in that car. I'm sort of getting a feeling of him sliding in there and feeling comfortable, even though he's in kind of this strange environment. He's just getting in his car and he feels at home now. It's definitely details, right? It's just soaked with details everywhere. So next we're seeing like more his point of view, but again, a detail, right? This is definitely, I would consider this a detail. It's not a video of the car. And then again, we're jumping into another absolute detail. They're showing some feature of the car. All right, a very specific feature of that car that could tie into that whole, you know, the sounds. They want you to feel like this car sounds and starts, and you know, the closing of the door. All those sounds are very strong and sturdy. And we are seeing a shot of the car here, but notice it's not, you know, it's not well lit. It's not anything like that. It's just in this strange area. So it's more about telling a story to them than making this car look so perfect at this point, I feel like, right? So the point here is, I really feel like people need to get out of this mind frame. I'm not selling a couch. I'm not selling a pot of flowers. Well, look at this commercial. They're not selling, you know, a parking garage, but they're shooting their commercial here because they're going after, they're trying to raise people's emotions when they watch these commercials. That's what it's all about. They're trying to get them emotional about this car and to maybe think about the car. Okay, so again, we're getting more details, how that steering wheel feels so comfortable in your hand, right? And once again, I'd call this a detail, you know, just the back of the car taking off. And I would say sequences like this, I don't mean to, you know, push this point ahead, but these aren't, you know, if you go and take a photo of a front of a house, it's going to be well lit and everything, and you're going to show the whole house. That's really not what this is, right? This is, in my opinion, these are details, all these, and they're about, what the detail is about the performance of this car. They're showing, see, that was actually another pretty strong detail that he's shifting with that lever in there. But again, even though they're not selling you, you know, they're trying to sell a car, but right here they're showing you how this car performs, I feel, how it's going to feel, okay? And that, isn't that what a detail real estate photographer, how you're going to feel sitting in this space? So really start to tie this in. I haven't been doing that for you, but I think you'll start to see what I'm talking about. Maybe we'll have a little discussion at the end. But again, another detail, how he feels in this car, how he feels in control. I'd say this shot was designed, how he feels sort of powerful behind the wheel and comfortable. And again, these aren't really showcasing the car, they're showcasing its performance. Okay, and then again, you know, they're zoomed into a tire, right? it keeps going. I keep kind of putting this quote. I don't mean to be too arrogant or nothing, but they're not selling tires, right? They're selling this car. But we're seeing a shot zoomed in on this tire. Okay, and now we're seeing, again, this ties into that whole production value of, the commercials, this aerial shot. Okay, so all of these shots aren't designed, notice, to show, even this, look at this, they're all in left field now, right? They're completely, shunned the whole thing about showing the car at all, right? And they're going into something right here, I don't know what, but they're sort of going into his mind maybe. And so they did some weird production value thing there. So anyway, I think you're getting the point. We'll go ahead and watch the commercial out and see what else happens toward the end. And then we're sort of, he can drive at night, he can drive in the day. More details of the shifting. All right, and a lot of production value stuff. So once again, let's just wait for it to end off here. They're really showing you his emotion. I mean, look at this. What the hell is this, People are always saying stuff about real estate photographs. And I'd look at this shot right here. I think it's perfectly legitimate. Some creative professional decided this would be a great shot. And you know what? It is. They're the geniuses, okay? So yeah, you'll notice in these commercials, it's more about him at this point. And maybe he's, let's see, is he seeing another car? See, they're getting this whole maybe racing aspect in here where he saw somebody else coming. Anyway, so I think the point is pretty clear though, right? I think everyone is reading between the lines. We don't need to show an entire living room. That's not the only thing we need to do, okay? That can be one of our shots. So I took the liberty to jump over to Fantastic Frank website here, and we're going to just go ahead, randomly go to the Stockholm one, and we're going to just pick the first one. Don't have this planned out. But as you'll notice in their photo sets, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about so far comes into play. Let this load up. Let's see where the photos are. So here they are. All right, so we are getting, these are pretty tight, but I think as we scroll down, we're probably going to see, look at this shot. How you're going to feel on your balcony, right? It's not so much a blueprint or a quote-unquote, sort of documentary photograph of this space. It's showing you how you're going to feel out here, yeah. And in this case, it's sort of a lot of people are going to be looking at you, but, they're doing their best there. And again, here, they're showing you how you're going to feel out there. They're not necessarily showing you exactly how big that is and exactly how much square area it has. They're going with a feeling, okay? And these are pretty standard. They tend to shoot pretty tight. I think here in the US we would tend to show this whole room and all the walls and everything, but they tend to get pretty tight. But I think as you'll notice, now look at this shot here. Take all that furniture out and take that lamp out. That stuff might not even come with the house, and we're not even seeing anything, right? We're seeing like a half of a window. So this photograph has no information in it whatsoever, right? So are the people that took this photo stupid or something? Like, no. They're showing you a wall. Just go back to those commercials and think about what they were trying to do. They're trying to get you to run out and buy one of those hamburgers. Well, it's just same stuff going on here. And look at this. So it's same type stuff, right? Same type of stuff we talked about. Let's keep going down here. Again, take all this furniture out. We're just seeing a wall. That's it. And I mean, these guys, these are really these people really, really know what they're doing. They have an entire marketing and photo and styling department at this firm. If you don't know much about Fantastic Frank, a lot different than our agencies over here or brokerages. They actually have entire department for styling and photography, okay? So again, hardly seeing any of this room. We can see a little teeny little piece of the bed, all right? It's all about the feeling of this room. Look at that. And you might argue that's probably a tight space they don't want to show. Well, maybe that's true, but I think they would do the same thing in a larger space. Okay, again, we can hardly see any of the floor here, none of the ceiling. They're just showing you what this area looks like and just sort of giving you a feeling of that area. And I think as you can go down, a lot of times they get really extreme with their examples. Let's see if we have any in this case. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but yeah, you can go ahead and peruse around. Sometimes like they'll just show a picture of just a faucet or just a plant in which we saw in the car commercial, right? So yeah, that was my take on it, and I hope you guys got something out of that, and I hope people start to, I really hope the sort of psyche starts to shift, and I feel like I've already seen that where people are taking more details, but I really personally think it's going to start to shift even more and more and more, as you're seeing here in all of these examples and in the, the big boys marketing campaign. And so I hope you are out ahead of the curve and can deliver these type of photos to your clients. Maybe if some of them complain or whatever, you can stop doing that, and some of them will love them. So you got to find out the right balance there. But yeah, I hope that information helped everyone, and I'll see you for the next one.